Thank you for joining. It's another day, and I want to thank you all for coming wherever you're watching from. I say good day to you and hope you're doing cool. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're enjoying the moments. Hope you are ready for today because we're going to be um, navigating on so many things that are very, very crucial and important to how we operate. Thank you all. I want to welcome you to this live broadcast on Biafra Global Network. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and of course, as usual, here to bring you the gospel of truth and also to open our eyes to many things that are going on in our land, and of course, among the people, especially those who have decided to become, very, very horrible in these times and this period. Thank you all for joining. This is Biafra Global Network. Today is the 26th day, Tuesday, 26th day of September 2023. And this is 2 minutes past 6 p.m. Biafra time. 2 minutes past 6 p.m. Biafra time. 2 minutes past 6 p.m. And we'll be looking at some very, very important things going on. It is very, very important for me to always get you guys updated on some very, very important things and facts that you need so that you can understand the times you are in and at the same time be able to put one and one together to come to conclusion and understand what is happening. At the same time, there are so many information moving around us and so many things going on. Sorry, please, just 1 minute. I'm just trying to get some things together. As usual, when I begin the broadcast, I have to just get them on so that we can have a flow. Of course, after this, I'm going to be flowing very properly and very right. And then, first, I want to appreciate you, and this, of course, in the spirit of celebrating Mazen Kanu and his birthday. Today is 26th. Yesterday was his birthday. We are preparing for his coming back. We are preparing for his release. And I know that every one of you are ready for that. And that leads me to what I'm going to be discussing today very critically. I want to open your minds to understand the gang war going on in Biafraland. Most of you don't understand that we are actually having more insecurity, just like Mazen Amdekano said, he wants Biafraland to be secured. The insecurity, much of the insecurity you see in Biafraland today is based on the fact that there is a gang war going on. You guys, some of you don't know that there is a gang war going on. And I'm going to be talking about that and making you understand that it is not unusual. It is normal because when it comes to freedom fighting, there are dispensations to everything that goes on, dispensations. And if you don't understand the dispensations, if you're not historically inclined, and if you don't have knowledge of things happening around you, especially things that are related to freedom fighting, critically, because you need that very, very well to understand what I'm talking about, not any other thing. If you don't have that mind, if you don't have that knowledge, you would think that what is happening is just so horrible that you just begin to feel depressed in the realm of your mind. But I want to thank you, Ego. Thank you so much. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for your message. Good to have you as always. I've been looking forward to seeing the message, and it's here already. Thank you. All right. We are having a dispensational problem, but it is not supposed to be a problem, but it is a problem because the people involved don't understand how dispensations are defined and what they are looking for. Especially when people are in slavery, they tend not to understand the sphere or the aura of the moment based on dispensation. Now, you have to understand something here critically. But before I go on, I want to talk about something that's going on. I saw yesterday or this morning, I saw people posting the picture of Amaka Okeke, posting her international passports, posting her picture everywhere, and telling people. I heard one voice from one woman that's always broadcasting, calling her a criminal, that she's collecting money from people. I don't know why we always want to blackmail or mess each other, or just just bring down each other or one another. I don't know why. But I don't know why anybody could come on social media, including Simon did this. He posted it on his platform, and all the criminals, all the rogues, and his rogue team, and the e-frogs. You take someone's picture and you post it on social media, and you don't post evidences of what the person has done. You just screenshot the passport, you screenshot, some bank details of some monies coming into her account or something, some money is given out or something. And you just post those things on social media and begin to tell people that she's a criminal. Now, I don't know why we are so evil to the point that we just want to be reckless and bring down other people. And I don't know why somebody like Simon would type. Of course, he's not. He's a crazy person. He's very stupid. Because for him to say that she's going to die in Nigeria means that, just like he said about Shadow, and just like he says about other people, now he posts that stuff on social media, and other people, those of you who have been posting this stuff, you guys don't know the implication of what you're doing, because all you like doing is blackmail people, put them in harm's way, and just try to be stupid. And you think that's freedom fighting. I don't know how the problem that you guys are, your problems is about bringing somebody else down. Now, if you look at the message that Simon sent, he said this lady has been attacking him since last year or some, or 2 years, since 2022. Meaning that the reason why he's posting the pictures and the reason why he's exposing her details is for her to be located and killed. That means she has been attacking you. Of course, she's supposed to attack you, as I am doing too, because you're a criminal. And if you're a criminal, people should attack you. People should speak out and say you're a criminal. And if we are exposing your criminality based on evidences we have, and you are trying to expose somebody else without bringing evidences, then something is wrong. I can categorically point out the evidences of Simon's criminality. Why would he post Amaka's picture out there, the information on her international passport, and then begin to tell the people that these things will be posted to all embassies, that she can never leave Nigeria, she must die there, or she can never leave Biafraland where she is, she must die there? Is he having a plan of killing her? Obviously, that is the first thing that comes to mind. Because for you to post somebody's picture and say that person will die where the person is, means that you have plans. To go that far to post that person's picture means that you have plans. I take my time these days am I trying these days, right? I don't speak very fast because I'm trying to be very slow so that people, those who can understand me very well. So now, Amaka Okeke's picture is everywhere. Thank you so much, Akwanwa. Good to have you. Shalom to you also. Do the reggae. Thank you. Now, her picture is flying everywhere and they're posting it everywhere. Now, the plan is for her to be frustrated so that she'll be afraid of going to the embassies or going anywhere she wants to go, because now that they have posted the details out there, it is easier for the Nigeria contraption and the Nigeria agents to locate her. So the narrative is that once this thing is posted, she will be trapped in Biafraland, and then their foot soldiers, I use the word foot soldiers, that means they are criminals, they are militias militia who is on ground. The members of their militia on ground would now begin to try to locate, because they fear that she will be trapped in Biafraland, and then they can track her and harm her. That is the plan. just exposing her out there so that she will go into hiding and will not be able to leave Biafraland, or will not be able to travel out as she intends. I don't know why our people are wicked and evil. You post it so that you can trap her, and then you can send your killers, those guys who kill for you. People like your Butuzo, people like your Chika, your Ndubisi, your Success, and all the Gaddafi, and all those killers that you have, and those ones are the ones coordinating these killers for you. You will send them to go and harm her, right? And you think you will go scot-free. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Yesterday, I was giving you guys some very, very vital information on where we are right now. And I was using the analogy of Sudan to give you, South Sudan, to give you a perspective to what I was talking about yesterday. But today I'm going to be going further into those details and those information. Now, I want you to understand something here, that we are in another dispensation of the program of our liberation. I will explain all of that to you. If you don't understand dispensation, you will not understand approach to dealing with the challenges that come with each dispensation. Because approach cannot be constant. The tactics you can utilize at a particular time may not work in another time. That means you must understand and prioritize the details, the information, and everything that concerns a particular time and dispensation, and look critically into the details so that you can design a better plan or another kind of patient. I want to tell you something here. The moment Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in June 2016 or 19, somebody remind me, and extraordinarily renditioned to the contraption called Nigeria, entered into another dispensation. It is not unusual, but I'm going to explain this to you today. I want you to understand this. I was just busy this morning, and this came into my mind, and I said I'm going to share it before I go into the details of the things I have to say. I have to talk about this dispensational thing. Dispensation means it's another way of talking about dispensing. When you hear the word to dispense, it comes from the word dispense. The word dispense is a verb, and the word dispensation is a noun. The act of dispensing, that means the act of releasing, administering, or administration. When it comes to dispensation, administration, or a system, a particular design, a particular plan, a program for a particular period of time. That's what it means. I'm trying to break it down to for everybody to understand, because you will gain so much from these teachings today, or this teaching today, because it will help you, because I want to begin to expose so many things that people don't understand. If you don't understand the tactical representation with every dispensation, dispensations have affected fighting of other people in their time, you will not know how to apply it in your time, and you will not know how to tactically design a program for your time that will counter the effects of criminality or the plans of criminal gangs coming into the dispensation to utilize you and yourself and your plans for their selfish ends and for what they want to do. Let me read a message of Ego here. This is what they did. One of the ways could be someone got her via her program. A man precisely made her fall for it. Him sends her money, promises her marriage. Yes, you're correct. That's what happens. And they are used to doing this. They are used to doing all these setups. Okay, let me go to this. Let me finish the issue of Mamaka before I go into this dispensational arrangement, and then begin to tell you about the ongoing war the gang war, so that you can relate it, because the gang war is related. I need the dispensation for you to understand the gang war program going on right now, so that you can understand what is going on. Now, listen. Amaka was set up quite all right. That was why they were able to get those information of that screenshot they sent on social media. All they needed to do was to set her up. And ladies, they are vulnerable. So she's set up. The information is utilized and published. Amaka will not screenshot anything and give to people, but she might have done the screenshots and sent to someone who is pretending around her, who is acting as a spy for Simon and his rogue team. And they get those information, they post it on social media and say that she's not going to go anywhere, she's going to die in that place. That means they have prepared their men to look for her, locate her, and kill her. Because that's what Simon has been doing, killing those who are standing on the path of truth. Remember when they sent their men, when they sent Gaddafi and Co. and Chika to come and track me, they were trying to lure me into a business. They told me they want to open one business in Ghana. And I was just laughing in me. Gaddafi, I was just laughing because Gaddafi doesn't even know. Before I even started talking with him, the first day I discussed with him, I know who he is. And when he first told me about the issue of coming to South Korea and all of those stuff, I just laughed. And when he designed that program and all of that, and I told him, I said, I have a particular money I'm waiting for, but it's not come. And I used it to discharge it. And he thought he was going to organize that stuff. And then later he came with the idea of contacting people around here, and they will come talk of how they are very interested in things to move forward, and they want to locate me, and they want to meet me, they want to send money to ESN through me, and all those nonsense they were doing. I don't know. They think that everybody is vulnerable to all this nonsense. I am not a greedy person, so you cannot push me around with some promise of business and all of that. It's only those who are very greedy, who want to invest $100 and get $1,000 in the next 2 hours. Those are the people that fall victim of all those nonsense. I don't fall victim of those nonsense. And so when they were trying to set me up and told me about the business, he called and said he wants to connect me to somebody who I'm going to speak with. And the person is a very trusted ally of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, those are people who are ready to betray at any time, and when they always claim to be trusted, people of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the guy was talking with me, and he doesn't know I know the guy. I know the guy very well, and he was talking to me. The guy's name called Chika. He was talking to me and he was saying they have to. I said, I will do that stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to harm you. They were insisting I must be the one to go there. I said, why must I be the one to go there? Send me the address and I'm going to handle it. I'm going to handle it. In fact, I'm going to even use a military person to go. I'm going to get a military, or when I mentioned military, that I'm going to get a military person to go with me, accompany me or something. Then I said, oh, okay. And in fact, I shouldn't worry that the job is for all these touts and all of that. The job is for a tout. Why are you giving it to me? And how can you say a job that is connected to opening an office and all of that is a job for touts? You see how they don't reason. They think they're smart. Amaka Okeke has been set up. She was set up, her details taken, and they want to set her up to kill her now. She might have become aware of the guy who set her up based on the fact that the information is out, and she's trying to be careful with that. But of course, even if they don't use that guy, they're going to use somebody else. And I want to advise her. Let me advise her so that you guys can send this message to her. Wherever Amaka is, anybody who comes promising heaven and earth, promising anything, marriage, promising anything, or promising a business, or promising, she should avoid them all. Anyone who comes to talk to her as if they want to protect her from Simon and giving her information that Simon's man is doing this and Simon's man is doing that, they want to do this to her. She has to secure herself, and trying to behave as if he is the one who wants to help her to secure herself. She should be careful of anybody in this freedom fighting program, no matter who that person is. You remember what happened to Innocent Oji? His second in command was used, and today he has been disarmed. He has been disarmed. And today Simon feels that his man would be the one, his face would be so every time they are coming on social media to showcase the guy, so that people will subconsciously begin to get adjusted to the fact that it is Biafra Liberation, so-called Liberation Army, that Simon has formed, that is in charge of Biafraland militarily. But that is criminality. That's not the truth. Simon is aiding the Nigerian government to kill the Biafra struggle. Fact. That is fact. Very well. And I'm going to give more details, info on this. Drawing your minds to the ongoing war and all of that. Now, listen to me. Tell Amaka to be careful of the people around her. Tell her to be careful of the guys that come around her. Tell her to be careful about the ladies that come around her. Tell her to be very careful. Tell her to be very, very careful. Because as much as they were able to use some people to extract information from her, to get a photocopy of, to get a screenshot of her visa, her international passport, and that detail of financial transaction, that person who sent the details of that financial transaction must be someone who has really entered into her. So she has to be careful with the people. No, Oji was not captured. He wasn't, but he was, his things were taken. So tell her to be careful. Now let's go to the dispensation thing. In every freedom fighting program, it begins with somebody or the people or a particular group of people based on the desires of the people or based on the desires of the nation that they want to be free. The desires of the people to be free. A group of people come together, whether appointed by the people or they come together, they decide that they want to free their people. You saw that in South Africa, Nelson Mandela came up and all of that. Along the line, some of you don't understand that even in the case of Nelson Mandela, I think I just heard one of his relative or something today is dead also. Granddaughter also dead today. So I think may her soul rest in peace. I don't know whether we can pray for souls of those who are dead, but it's just the usual thing we do. We say, may the soul of that rest in peace. I don't know whether we have an extended power to the supernatural to do that, because it's not in our power to do that, to make anybody's soul rest in peace, no matter the kind of prayer we make. Anyways, but it's just like just like do we say a compliment? Yeah, so we always say that may her soul rest in peace. So his granddaughter dead today. May her soul rest in peace as a compliment, because I'm not God. I'm not the one to decide whose soul is going to rest in peace or whose soul is not going to rest in peace. So anyways, let's go on. Now, when Nelson Mandela began the issue of freedom for the black or for the brown colored people of South Africa, he, along the line, began to encounter other people, other groups coming up, and all of that. That means, aside the fact that Nelson Mandela was genuine and seeking this thing with all transparency and all of that, other groups began to crop up and they had their personal agenda. And all they were doing is seeking for an opportunity to be in control. Some of them want to get rid of Nelson Mandela. Some of them were utilized also to set him up. A lot of things were happening from the same people he was fighting for. Some of them were used by the colonial masters to set him up. Some of them were used to do lots of things to try to disrupt and to destroy the program. Now, in the case of South Sudan also, as I was telling you yesterday, as soon as there was a need for them to be free, along the line, I'm talking about dispensations now. The first dispensation is the idea, the first time of some people coming together and saying we have to get ourselves free, whether they have the right motive, the wrong motive, or whatever they have, but there's a particular point of beginning. We need freedom. It might begin with the people clamoring for it, and then a group of people coming, looking at what the people need and coming into it and deciding they have to fight on behalf of the people. But there's always a first point of reference. And that first point of reference always takes attention or have the attention of the people. But along the line, Some other groups would want to come up because they understand that this first point of reference might be in control of the government after the freedom is achieved. And because most times, most of the groups that come later are the ones who are actually criminal. But sometimes the group that begins might be the criminal group. Now, let me explain this. I'm going to explain it in the case of Biafra. I'm going to bring it in the case of Biafra. I want you to understand this. Please just bear with me because I'm taking it slowly and slowly so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. Then I would now take you to the gang war going on in Biafraland right now. As soon as Wazirike began the pursuit for Biafra in 1999 and all of that, you understand that he actually had a good intention. But along the line, he was a contraption. Please bear with my network. Now, Wazirike had people working with him. The Nigeria contraption contracted and then he was jailed. And as soon as he was jailed, some of the men around him were bribed, used to talk to him in jail to tell him, Mr. Man, we need money. We just have to move on. And let's just do it, politicize this whole thing. And that was what happened. You see now, Wazirike is building houses everywhere, building hotels everywhere. He has now his own kind of freedom fighting is just, but there is no substance to it. Now, remember, that was the point, the first point of reference after the 1967 war to 1970. After that war of Biafra, this is the network signal. Yes, I can see it. That's why I'm just not very, I'm just watching it also. Now, this is what happened. The first point of reference to Biafra after the war began, 1999, started effectively. Now, along the line, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out of that, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out with a genuine intention, learning from the dispensation of Wazirike, knowing that this is what he doesn't need to do wrong, and this is what he doesn't need to do, and he doesn't need to compromise this way, knowing how Wazirike has compromised. And of course, you know that along the line of Wazirike's compromise, lots of people began to dance around him, the politicians, some other criminals and all of that, dancing around him because they're making money together from the Nigeria contraption. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came into his dispensation came in, it looked like it is the beginning of true approach or true desire for freedom, because he brought to the fore the trueness of the transparency and accountability in the sense of what he wants to achieve, but he struggled with a team or a group of people around him who were fighting against transparency and accountability around him. So he was struggling until they were able to sell him to the enemies. Now remember, because of the sacrifices, based on the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu this is his week, so his birthday was yesterday, so I'm going to use this as a means of tribute to him. When he began the seeking for Biafra, the freedom of Biafrans, people thought it was going to be business as usual, just like Wazirike. But people began to notice that this man stood for the truth and refused, even when he was told, okay, let's give you a part of Biafraland, so you leave the rest. He said, no, every part of Biafraland must be, even in jail. He said, no, if that's why you're going to free me, then I'll remain in jail. That was in 2015. Remember 2016 when the negotiations were being done, in 2017 when he was released. Now, he insisted that the whole of Biafraland will go with him. They told him they want to make him a vice president. They told him they're going to give him billions of money and all of that. And he said, no, I don't need all of that. He now, after he came out, when he had to sit with the governors to discuss, now this time around, he was not even talking critically about Biafra, total liberation. He was not talking about autonomy. That means let the seaport in Iguacha, in Warri, in One. No, not, I think One is working, of course. No, One is not working. The seaports in Biafraland should be open. The airports, international airports, opened in Biafraland. The companies closed down by the Nigeria contraption government, opened. Those were the things he was asking. Allow economic liberation of Biafraland. He didn't even talk about total, liberation, economic liberation. The governor still could not go to the federal government to negotiate that. Rather, they sent people to come kill him September 2017 in his house, which 28 people died. He escaped narrowly and somehow was able to go to Israel. And then only for him to be kidnapped again in 2021 by some of our people within us, some of them in the DOS who are part of that kidnap, some of them. And 2 years, 3 months counting, he's still in detention. Now, let me tell you something. As soon as people noticed the sincerity of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was first when he was first arrested in Lagos in 2015, and going through that period and refused to take the offer of presidency and all of that, that was when people understood, and people now said, wow, this man is genuine. And that was what made me decide to also begin to believe in him and follow him. That was it. Because I was looking at the whole thing from the narrative of Uwazurike, but Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was able to prove himself that he's sincere and genuine. And that is how I decided, and so many other people decided to follow him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's position became so centralized that other groups in Biafraland seeking for freedom needed to attach themselves to him, or else they had no relevance. So which means that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was around, there were no militia groups. What I mean by militia groups? Independent militia groups. Almost all the groups in Biafraland respected him. Almost all the groups in Biafraland wanted to work with him. People looked at IPOB as the front for freedom, which means we had one front to pursue our freedom. And that front is being coordinated by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is sincere and transparent. Now, that front being coordinated by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was able to silence any other group that may want to seek attention on their own. So all they needed to do was to stay under the auspices of IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, under the protection of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as long as they are seeking for freedom. That made the freedom mandate for Biafra easy. 1, 2, it helped us to safeguard ourselves from criminality even after our freedom. How do I mean? That one front from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to pursue our freedom was a very, very promising front, based on the fact that we didn't have different militia groups seeking to override the other one to take over the governance or to take control of Biafraland. IPOB was in charge. Whatever group people had or people were having, they all still needed IPOB, which is recognized by the whole of Biafrans as the front for freedom, which means that our freedom mandate was not complicated as it was in Sudan and other places where they were seeking for freedom. That means it would be easy for us to get our freedom and still have a government that is upright at that point, because we didn't have so many militia groups in control. We had one front, and from that one front, the operation, the person in charge is transparent, is very accountable, and is very, very upright. So this meant that when we get our freedom, we were not going to have problems about the kind of government we want in Biafraland, which means we could define our government based on the fact that the person representing our freedom, Mazen Amkano, is an evidence, epitome of freedom, epitome of transparency and accountability. So because he is, we were assured that we were going to get a freedom, and as soon as we get our freedom, we were not going to have after effects that would be very disastrous to us. We're going to have a government that will come in smoothly. And of course, we're going to have a front based on the fact that under IPOB, we're going to have a formidable military force, of which Mazen Amkano was bringing about all the groups in Biafraland, bringing them together. Brought all of them together, both the ones in the coastal region and the ones in the hinterland and everywhere, was bringing everybody together. So we were having a front for our freedom. At that point, we were ready for freedom. At that point, we were not going to have complications even after our freedom. That meant that we were ready for freedom. Remember, my topic yesterday was that we are not ready for freedom now. Now, are you getting the picture of why I gave you that topic yesterday? And I'm going to tell you the reason if you don't understand it. But today, we entered into another dispensation, and that is the dispensation of Sudan that we're in now, or Somalia. Let me explain this to you. As soon as Mazen Amkano was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, somebody's asking me, what are you talking about? His brain cannot process the information. His brain, no, these e-frogs, his brain cannot process the information because they just like things. They just like doing things one way. They don't think, they don't reason. But just hang on, you e-frog. I'm going to explain further so you can understand. Please bear with me one moment. All right. Now let me explain for those people who don't understand what I'm trying to say, so that then you'll get the clearer picture of what I'm talking about here. We entered into another dispensation as soon as Mazen Amkano was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned. Let me explain the dispensation to you. It opened up an opportunity, let me call it an opportunity, for all those people who have been thinking of having their own groups, their militia groups, all those people who are seeing an opportunity in the kidnap and extraordinary rendition of Mazen Amkano. It opened the door for them now to begin to groom their own groups and begin to think of being in control of Biafraland. Can I explain further? What happens is this. When Mazen Amkano was here, no matter the kind of group you open, you would not have popularity among the people. Am I correct? You would only still seek to be under IPOB or work with IPOB, even if you claim not to be IPOB. You will still want to identify with IPOB to get relevance. But now that Mazen Amkano is no more there, and that was what they are looking for, and that's what they are looking for. They wanted him to be out so that they can have another way of controlling you out there, because they know that with Mazen Amkano, it will be difficult to get your attention. That's why most people call me. The network signal is poor. Please bear with me. Now, that is why some people will call call me and ask me, which group do we belong to? Which group should we join? We're supposed to have multiple groups. We're supposed to have a front under IPOB. But because those people are seeking for their selfish ends, they are seeking for their to take control of power. They are seeking to be in these who are talking about Biafra freedom and all of, telling you so many things about how they are seeking and showing you so many things on social media, like Simon is just showing you so many things on social media. It is not as if nobody wants to get Biafra, but the truth here is people want to get Biafra to be in control of Biafra. These are two different things. One, the desire to get freedom. Two, to control the freedom in your own way. Now let me give you some narrative that will make you understand. Since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been taken away, different groups have come up. Chinasa has its own group, Chinas and Woru. I don't know if I think Nena has her own group. Can be seen. All of them can be seeking to have relevance in your mind or catch your attention because they know they have removed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the way. So it is easier now to communicate with you. It is easier now for you to think of which group you want to belong. Because with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you will not be asking for which group to belong. You just know that as long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is there, he's your leader. So now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they now took him away. They now feel that taking him away would make them have access to your mind. And when they have access to your mind, they can now begin to manipulate you. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why they wanted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out is because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would not want to give them what they want to get. One, the power they want to get. Two, the resources they want to steal from Biafra when they hijack power and control the resources of the people and control the land. So what they are doing now is this. Chinas has got his own group. They tell you they are fighting for freedom. Nina has her own group. Kanunta has his own group. Simon has his own group. Maybe very soon Azuka will break out from Simon and have her own group. Or maybe very soon some people will break out from either Simon or Azuka and have their own group. Very soon they will be breaking and they will have their own group. And let me give you fundamentals of why Simon's group is dangerous. I was there, right? I was part of that group. But when I saw the signs, I raised my voice. When they began with the issue of the currency, I keep talking about the currency because it will help you understand. You see, when things are going to happen, there are signs that come. When you want to know those who are going to really deal with you, you'll see the signs around. When that issue of currency happened, it was a test to Biafrans to understand what is coming. But you guys are too blind. Some of you are too blind or are too daft to understand. That issue of currency, when they were talking about putting their faces on the currency, is a sign to you that these guys are looking for opportunity to control you, control your land, control your resources, and control Biafra under their program. Now, let me give you an instance. When we were designing the constitution, Ngozi Orabueze was in the group, in the think tank group, of which Simon also belongs, the group that he denied on air that he's not part of. Ngozi Orabueze was in that group, the think tank group, when we were designing the constitution and put the code of conduct and the national pledge, all the stuff and all the write-ups and all the things we were doing, the documents. Ngozi Orabueze was in that group, but she was not contributing anyway. She was not doing anything effectively, you know. She was just there. She just comes in and sits. And when it came to the time we wanted to deliberate on the issue of LGBTQ and abortion, that was when we heard the voice of Ngozi Orabueze very well. Now, remember, Ngozi Orabueze is also working for the Nigeria contraption. She's also in Simon's cabinet. She has a portfolio in that cabinet, chief of staff, or whatever they call that nonsense they call themselves. They call themselves. Now, she is also the one under the program of getting a very good constitution for Biafra. We were sitting to discuss the issue of getting a good constitution for Biafra. We deliberate the type of government we have. We deliberate the power sharing. We deliberate everything. Ngozi does not contribute because she doesn't have what it takes now. Many of them there were just there. It was only about 2-3 people, 3 of us or 4 of us who were actively involved. in discussions, actively involved in discussions, and I was the one who put everything together. Everything you see in that constitution document, I put them together. Now listen, when it came to the time we wanted to deliberate on the issue of LGBTQ, you know what LGBTQ is? Well, you know, okay, let me say homosexuality. You guys will understand. That means man, woman, man, cow, man, dog, man, woman, elephant, any other thing. Just, you know, all the stuff. When we now went into the issue of abortion, discussion of abortion, that was when Ngozi Arabueze found her voice. Did you know what she was arguing? She was saying that we cannot prohibit abortion. We cannot prohibit homosexuality, that we must have homosexuality in Biafraland. She was insisting that we must have, that we can, she was wasting our time arguing blind arguments. She couldn't, when I bring up a point, she cannot even defend it. She just argues blindly. Some other person brings a point, she argues blindly. We wasted so much time on that matter because she wanted homosexuality in Biafraland. Because she wants, not wanted, she wants homosexuality in Biafraland. She said that we cannot tell people what they want. If anybody wants to marry a woman who wants to marry a woman should marry a woman. A man who wants to marry a man should marry a man. All these things which we should not, the world has gone past this level of trying to stop people. She was saying so many things. Now, imagine Ngozi Arabueze in Simon's cabinet and they form a government for you in Biafra. They help you get Biafra. You can imagine the kind of government you're going to have in Biafraland. That's one side of the story. Those of you who don't have sense, let me begin to tell you. Because you don't read signs. You know what Jesus said? Jesus said, "This signs shall follow them that believe," because the kingdom of God is even evident by signs. Jesus said something. He said, "These signs shall follow them that believe," because for you to understand that they believe, you must see signs to know they believe. So belief system comes from the signs you see. I don't know how you guys reason. That is why scripture says that by their fruits you shall know them. Every belief system you see, everything you see somebody projects in their behavior and all of that, which of course is a proof of their belief, has signs you can see around them. That's it. So Ngozi Arabueze said, Ngozi Arabueze and I think the other one they call what's her name now? There are two of them, two women there who were actually, or the other one was just dilly-dallying. What's her name now? She's also still in that crew. She was the one who called me and said, "Why shouldn't we have the faces of these people in the currency?" And I was telling her about Opigo. I was telling her about Bruce and other people. She was saying, "Who are these people?" Somebody who is a member of the what's the name? A member of the advisory board of so-called Biafra stuff that Simon thinks he is, that cabinet, does not know the heroes in Biafraland. Was asking me, who is this person? Who is that person? When I was saying that we have to put these other people's faces in the currency rather than put our faces. She was saying, who is Opigo? She was saying, who is Bruce? She was saying, who is... she was just saying, asking, she didn't know any of them. And she's fighting for freedom. Ngozi Arabueze said that we must allow LGBTQ in Biafra constitution. That means a man can marry a woman, a man can marry a nkita, can marry a dog, can marry a woman can look for an elephant, and that elephant will be a boyfriend. A woman can marry a woman. She was fighting to make sure we put that. We said no, we stood our ground, we said no. Ngozi Arabueze, she's chief of staff. When Biafra comes through them, if Biafra, let me not say when, if Biafra comes through them, which of course what they're doing is this, they fight themselves internally. Simon's group fights Chinaza's group because every group wants to be in control based on the fact that they see an opportunity because Mazin American is not there. So they know that Biafrans will still look for a group or somebody to give their loyalty. So they want to deal with the other one, just like what they did to Oji. They treated Oji, they messed him up. So that is why some of you don't know why they keep projecting that guy's face who is coming on social media, putting on the military stuff and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. It's a psychological thing. He'll keep talking and you will keep getting used to him. And before you know it, subconsciously, you will believe that he's the one in charge of the Biafra military. Simon wants to sell the guy into your mind. So he will keep making the guy showcase himself, project videos, do some stuff, and project these videos, keep saying some stuff and calling Ikonso because he knows that Ikonso will, when you talk about Ikonso, it will affect, because Mazi Ikonso is Mazi Namikanu's main man. And he knows that when he keeps talking about Ikonso, you will be excited. He's trying to, tap into your emotion using the things that is your passion. They will talk about Mazi Namikanu. They will talk about Ikonso. They will talk about all this stuff so that they would get through to you. And he will keep uploading 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute video to show his face out there. And they use their people to project those videos so that you will keep downloading and watching. Subconsciously, you'll begin to accept him like the leader. They call him general now. Isn't that what they call him? But Innocent Oji was the one calling himself general. Innocent Oji now, they have succeeded in exposing him to the zoo contraption. They have disarmed him. Now he is not effective as he's supposed to be now. They begin to showcase another face to you because they need you to get used to this new face and begin to call him that general that they were calling, that Innocent was calling himself, so that you will now begin to see that this is the general, not Ikonso. I mean, sorry, not this guy, Innocent Oji. Physiology, process of implantation. That's it. No be small game, technically formulated to keep fooling the people. That is it. They are not seeking for people's freedom. They are all helping. Now, the truth here is this. They want freedom. Let me shock you guys. They want freedom, but they want freedom under their own command. Because under their own command, they will be in control of Biafra resources. They will decide what law they implement and what law they set and design to control you and to put you, just like what is happening in South Sudan, just like what is happening in on other places, where a militia takes over power. And when they take psychology, yes, I know it's psychology you want to say, it's a physiology, yeah, it's psychology you want to say. And I wanted you to write it yourself. 1 minute. Right. So, don't worry. My lights, I have to put on the light, so I think you can still see my face. Now, dispensation works and gangs are seeking to take control. They all want Biafra. Do you know why they want Biafra? Not because they think that Simon is for Biafra to have a territory he will control, not because he thinks you need freedom. Chinasa Biafra, he's going to control, not because he thinks you need. Nena, all Kanunta, all of them are seeking for Biafra to have a territory to control. So when you see them, military people, it's not because they're true free, but because they want to get rid of those people so that they can be in charge of the control and territory. So the freedom they are seeking is not for you to have a better life, but for them to control you. They will be the one to organize the laws they want. They will be the one to set the government they want. They will have their key people in place and all of that. And you would not be able to get yourself the right kind of government you want. Before you know it, the same way they have utilized to get themselves into power is the same way they must sustain that power. They will get worse. If you think that people will come to seek for freedom for you using criminality, they get that freedom, they will now stop criminality and begin to do the right thing. Then you are daft, you don't know history, and you are doomed for destruction. So what they do is this dispensation now we are in is dispensation that we have to be very careful. This is the time we must now determine and make sure that we don't become like another South Sudan, because this is the dispensation of militia groups. The dispensation where different groups are now out and they are killing each other or one another to be in control. That is what is happening in Biafraland. There's no way anyone working under Chinasa will see anyone of Simon's group and not kill that person. There's no way Simon's person will not see Chinasa's person and kill. There's no way Kanunta's person will not see Chinasa's person and kill. Or there's no way, all of them. Why didn't Simon go to their so-called program that he said they held in US? That jamboree they went to do. Have they come to show you the office and show you what going on there? Idiots. You are jumping. They have opened office. This is the dispensation in every freedom fighting where people must choose carefully their actions and what they need to do. This is the dispensation. Good evening, my brother. Yeah, Daniel, you'll watch it later from beginning so you can get the facts very well. The dispensation we are in right now is the dispensation that we need to be careful, because now we have gone into the dispensation of different militia groups. Remember, when it was just the dispensation when Mazin Ambikan was in control, it was easier for dispensation of militia groups. We have different interests, and each of these militia groups, you can be caught in between. If you're not careful, you can be caught in between. So what you need to do right now is to be very, very careful. You must make sure that you look out for the signs. For instance, I was giving you an evidence of what Simon's group is doing and the people in Simon's group. I told you about Ngozi Aragweze. She was telling us that we must include LGBTQ in the Biafra constitution, and I said no. Some of other people said no. We said no, we can't take that. We can't take LGBTQ. Now, another thing again, she said, when we were discussing, arguing matters, she's not, of course, she's not, she's not intellectually endowed. She's daft. So she cannot discuss intellectually. Remember when I bring her to broadcast, you see the way she answers my questions. I ask her question A, she'll be answering B. And at a point, one of my people told me that, please, when you're asking her questions, ask her questions very, very, very easy questions, because she doesn't really understand the way you position your grammar. So she answers questions out of point. Imagine asking somebody a question, the person will be answering something else and begin to wonder. Now, she said that we must permit this one now shocked me well, enter my bone. She said we have no right to determine what at least a girl of 10, 12 years does with her body. That we cannot tell those kinds of girls, if they become pregnant, not to commit abortion. That's what she said. She said in our law, we cannot prohibit that. That we cannot determine what these small girls do with their body. They have their life to live. So you cannot tell a 12-year-old girl or a 10-year-old girl what she has to do with her body. That's in the law. We must not put it in the law. We must not prohibit that. That at least at the age of 10, 12, they should have a right to their body. If they want to have abortion, they have the right to abortion. And we were saying that even at the point of accepting abortion in our laws, it must be that either the fetus or the mother's life is in danger, or something is critical that based on doctor's recommendation, that this must be carried out. That is the only reason. But as long as you have a heart, you have a soul growing up, having a brain, having a head coming up and growing up, the fetus growing up, that is a human being that has its own rights, even if it is in the womb of someone. And if it's in the womb of that person, even if that person has the right to their own body, they don't have a right on the fetus, because the fetus is a person. So you don't eliminate the fetus because of your own right. And we had the argument of what if the woman was raped and all of that. Once you are raped, as soon as you are raped, Get the officials to know. Let the people know. You get to the hospital, they know what to do immediately. You can't tell us that you wait for 1 month and you now begin to have a child growing you, and that is when you now want to go and terminate that child. It's not possible. Rather, you must give birth, and the nation will take care of the child. We had critical arguments on this matter. Ngozi said that we cannot prohibit abortion. That anybody, even if it is 9 months or 8 months or 7 months, if they want to abort, they have right to their body. You have your right to your body, and you think that you can eliminate somebody else because you have your right. So if I have a right, I can go kill somebody because I have a right. By killing a child in the womb that has committed no crime, that is child abuse. That is criminal. In fact, it's worse than child abuse. That is criminal. That is murder. Because you are terminating the life of somebody else because you want to protect your own right to your body. For the fact that that human being takes a house in your womb does not mean that you have control over that human being. You can the life of that human being is in your hands. We had these kinds of arguments. Ngozi Oraboze, who is in Simon's cabinet today, the same people who, if they get Biafra for you, they would set the laws in that order. They would tell you abortion must be there. They would tell you LGBTQ. A man can marry anything they want to marry. A woman can marry anything they want to marry, and all of that. These are the things they're going to set. So if they could argue these things, we had arguments several times that at a point we got pissed. We said we're not going further with this kind of argument. This same Ngozi Oraboze is the one called the so-called chief of staff under Simon's cabinet, under Simon's Mirage cabinet. These are the people who are going to set the laws for you if they get you Biafra. So it is not about who is seeking to get you Biafra. It is about the intention. It is about the intent, the intention. It is not about whether they are seeking to get Biafra or not. No, that's not the question. That's not the argument. The argument here is, what is the motive? What is the motive? From their actions, their inactions, from everything that they do, you would understand their motives. And so what they do, how you know first that they are not genuine, is that they fight the other groups who claim to be fighting for freedom too. So they fight this, they want to be in control. They don't think of how they can come together. And what they do is propaganda and lying and blackmail. Look at it all over. Look at what they are doing to Amaka. Okay. Blackmail, because she was standing on truth against Simon. Simon feels that he can revenge. And he is so daft that he mentioned it on his tweet. He said that last year, 2022, this girl was attacking me. Today, she wants to run out of Nigeria. She cannot run out. Look at her passport. She must remain in Biafraland until she is killed. That's what he said on his tweet. He sold out, and he calls himself, of course, we know he's not a lawyer. He sold himself out. That means you are trying to get this lady because she attacked you. Didn't you see when he came out and called me a criminal on social media? And I've told him that if he doesn't bring evidences of what I've stolen from him or what criminality I've done in Biafra Freedom, the time will come we're going to fight that out in the law. So let's wait. Let's just get what we want to get. Let's not be distracted. But you can't call me a criminal on air and think you'll go scot-free. You must tell me what I stole. You must tell me who I defrauded in Biafra. But I can call him a criminal because I have evidences. So that's the difference. I can call him a criminal. I have evidences of his criminality. But for him to call me a criminal, he must prove it. Now look at it. The dispensation of rogue militia team. You know, different teams of different groups. The dispensation. Now, this is where care must be taken, or else we'll become another Sudan. Let me tell you that. Let me explain this to you. South Sudan had so many militia groups within the country or within the nation seeking to get the freedom of South Sudan. But the people were carried away about getting freedom. than those who would be in charge of getting that freedom. So they were not concerned about knowing what all they wanted is freedom. We want to be free, no matter which group is going to lead us into freedom. And that is the same script playing in Biafraland for some of you today. Some of you feel that once someone comes and goes to kill some military people at a particular checkpoint, that person is the one. Oh, action, action. This is action. That is what we want. You are a fool. Action does not always mean truth. With what I have gathered on ground, I have not jumped to conclusion, but this is only MNK that can stop Ekwerima with all his activities. Even the zoo government cannot stop him. That's why we need MNK out now. As in, please don't let us be on the side of anyone, both in the US. I'm not on anybody's side. Try to get my argument. If you listen to me carefully, you'll see that I talk about every one of them. They are all in this dispensation of criminality, where each group is seeking to be in control. Chinansa has a group, he wants to be in control. The DOS have their groups, different people on that platform of the DOS, whom Chikedozi and Co say they have sacked this and they have sacked that and they have sacked that, and those ones go to open their own groups and all of that. They all have their criminal gangs, and each of those criminal gangs are fighting one another. That is the war. Now, why are they fighting one another? Because they have their own motive for this thing. If it is all about freedom, then what they would seek is to have all the groups come together, just like Mazen Amkano was doing before he was kidnapped. As soon as he was well positioned to get freedom, what he started doing was contacting different groups. We need to come together because it is our freedom. In fact, he said so many things. These signs are very important. If you don't understand the place of sign, because we are not God, we don't know the mind of people. God, even God told Samuel in the book of 1 Samuel, he said, for God looks in the outward, man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks in the heart. So because we look on the outward appearance, we look for signs to tell what you have in mind. As soon as Mazen Amkano began to extend hand of fellowship to groups, we need to come together, we need to do things together. I don't have a right to determine the currency. Mazen Amkano said it. He doesn't have a right to determine the currency. He doesn't have a right to determine the name we bear, whether we're going to continue with the name Biafra or another name. He doesn't have a right to anything. He kept saying it that Biafrans will decide. That is a sign that he had good intentions. Now, these same idiots around, especially Simon, comes to tell you that he has changed everything. He has now divided the states. He has changed the names of the territories. He has given himself title Prime Minister. The only thing he has not mentioned is the currency, because he knows that currency has caused problems between us. Because he knows that currency thing is, he doesn't want to go there first. He wants to keep that first. He wants to first manipulate you guys, manipulate you until you accept all his shenanigans. He came to tell you that he has changed the names of the territory without consultation. Where does that happen? Someone sits in Finland and just rolls out some name on Twitter and said the land has been changed, this has changed, and this is the name of this name of this place is now called this, and the name of is the that is a sign to you, because it's telling you that we have to have homosexuality law in the Constitution, telling you that a 12-year-old, 10-year-old can be allowed to commit to commit abortion. Cannot give you freedom. Cannot give you freedom. They would only, if they have the get Biafraland taken away from the contraption Nigeria, and then they take control of the land. Then you now begin to see tyranny or tyranny, however you want to call it. And then that's when you now begin to see that, yes, you now begin to fight the real war. To avoid that real war, we must be concerned about who says they want to take us to freedom. You don't just tell us you want to get us freedom and then we take you in. No, who are you? What is your intention? What signs can we see around you? The things you've been doing, those in your cabinet and all of that. What are they doing? What have they done? As long as anybody has been involved in killing of any Biafran because they don't agree or subscribe to the ideology of for anything that has to do with their freedom, they just have to wait until the time of our law, when our law will take its course in their lives. You know, we don't kill people. We're not the ones who come to expose people's names on social media and put them in harm's way. You know, we don't do that. And you're talking about accountability group coming all out. We are out already. It's just for the people to just understand that they need to come together, come and let's reason together. If you don't know where that is, go and check Isaiah chapter 1 verse 48. It says, come, let us reason together. Even God himself needs you to come so you can reason. There's nothing we can do unless you agree to reason and discuss. If you think that anybody will give you anything, then wait for them to give you that thing and then see how they're going to deal with you later. So all of you sitting back and expecting Simon to give you freedom, just expect or Chinansa will give you freedom, or Nena's group or Kanunta's group give you freedom. Just expect that once they get it for you, if they can get it for you, just expect to know, expect what is going to come for you. Just expect what is going to come to you, because what is going to come to you is what you deserve, because you're a fool. You sit back and you think people will just go and fight and get it for you and then begin to give you a good life. They will set the laws to suit their interest. They will set the rules to suit their interest. They will hijack the economy. They will hijack the resources. You will only become a worker. If you aspire to be whatever you want to aspire to be, they have their men already on ground. You cannot even enter into politics. Then you now begin to think that you are under another bondage. You now start fighting again, just like what is happening in South Sudan. They fought. Even after that, I think in 2015, they fought another war. After their freedom, July 2011, they fought another war. You know why? The militia groups inside were seeking for control. The people didn't plan appropriately to front the right group that will help them get their freedom. At all. I'm reading the messages. Oh my God, e-frogs. If you don't come now for us to reason together, prepare to become a slave the second time. And this time around, it's going to be brutal, because you are going to fight within you and it's going to be disastrous. By the time we get freedom and one of these criminal groups get freedom for you, let's just assume they can get it. They get it for you. The next thing that will happen is there is going to be a civil war within Biafraland, and that will be more destructive. So the best way to stop that is to understand the dispensation you are in, understand the implication of neglecting the signs of danger. I'm going to speak more on this the next broadcast. It's already time up. 30 minutes past the closing time. This is 7:15 Biafra time. I'm going to continue on this. Today is Tuesday. On Thursday, I'm going to continue this particular narrative, and I'm going to explain to you better about the dispensation and open up more signs to you that you need to watch out and understand. But we must reason together. So I'm calling on you guys. Some of you have joined those groups. You don't reason anymore. All you do is when they tell you this, you jump up. Oh, wow, wonderful. Oh, action. Water. I'm telling you, if you don't want to regret your life, we have to discuss. Every one of us, we must restore that front of Mazen Namdekano as much as we await his return. We must sustain that front. We must disarm. And it's very easy to disarm all these militia groups. Just stop funding them. Stop funding them. Stop giving them hype, hyping them. Stop praising them. You disarm them. They are dancing naked in the markets. Dance of shame. That's true. The only way you can disarm all these militia groups, I'm going to talk more about the solution, what we need to do now so we can save time, we can save our lives for what is coming, the implosion that is going to come. There's a difference between explosion and implosion. Some of you don't understand. I'm going to explain implosion to you the next time. The only way we can save this, you see, these days I try to speak slowly because you guys say I talk very fast. So I'm speaking slowly so that it will sink. And I utilize tautology, to make it so that saying it over and over, as if I'm circumnavigating. Bunch of gullibles. They are. That's it. The only way you can stop doomsday is to fix now. Because your now action determines what is going to happen tomorrow. So if you are busy dancing water, every little thing they post on social media, you jump out. Wow, action, water. You're working, Biafra is coming. Even if they get it for you, you're going to be in another level of slavery to the point that you'll be fed up and you will protest and they will kill you. Then that's when you know that when militias get you freedom, you don't expect them to give you what you expect. They don't actually come for freedom. They come to take control of you. Mazen Namdekano will be released. He'll be released. He'll be released. On Thursday, same time, I think it's going to be Thursday is going to be 5 p.m. Biafra time. That is 4 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. Biafra time, 5 p.m. Biafra time. So it will be earlier so that I don't have this issue of, darkness on the screen. And so we can speak and I'm going to take maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes. And that I'm going to explain the stage we're in, the dispensation we're in further. And I'm going to explain the militia groups and how they are working to secure their interests. It's just like some of you who are saying that Russia is doing this. Every nation of the world seek their interest. They don't love you. So if you think that anybody coming to your aid is coming because they love you, they're coming to take control. I'll talk more on that. I'm also going to talk more on the issue of the dispensation, the approach, the science, and then the solution. This is the time. This is the time to solve this madness. I want to thank you all, you guys, my guys here, sending messages. And of course, the e-frogs also who are sending messages. It's good for them to send messages so we can see how stupid they are. I can see some of the e-frogs and your messages. So I can measure your stupidity by your message. That's a sign too for me. I get the sign of how stupid you are when you send a message for the e-frogs. For those who are reasonable, I see the level of your reasoning. You are intellectually sound by your messages. We know that Nigeria Contraction pays some of these guys and some of these agents, all these militia groups. Simon, I believe Simon is here. He's watching. He used another account name. The other day he came with one name, and I think he has come with one particular. I'm seeing one Chinese sign calling. The person says, what is it? Y2D car chosen. Is that a name? They don't have identity. They don't have identity. Thank you so much, Massive Media. Good to have you here. I've been looking forward to seeing your message all this while, but you've not been for a while. I know you're always busy. Massive Media. Thank you for your message. And I'll keep it up. Thank you. Yes, I will keep it up. That's the assignment. And I will have to continue to do it. We stand on the truth, nothing but the truth. This is the hallowed platform for truth, Biafra Global Network. This is Mazen Namdekano's season. And so you'll always see this picture behind to remind our people where he is and to remind us of what he went through, and courtesy of some of the people within us who sold him out. And that is the reason why you see Martin Americanus pics there behind me. Not a pics of celebration, but it's pics of the reality on ground. You know, we don't cover it, we open it up so people can know, we know where we are, and we know so that we can tell where we have to go. Because if we keep talking about where we are going and without looking at where we are, we might discover that where we are may not lead to where we're going. So to balance this, we must understand where we are in relation to where we are going. And then we can now understand the process and the way that is required to do that. That's the essence of what we're doing. It says, by their comments, you shall know them. That's a very good one. By the comments, we shall know them. That's it. That's the sign. You know, by their comments, we have the sign, and so we shall know them. Yeah, I like this. I like this. By their comments, you shall know them. That's it. By their comments, we know the e-frogs and we know the intellectuals. Now, I've always told you guys that there are two things. It's either you are a Nigerian or you are an intellectual. I've always told you guys. You can never be a Nigerian and be an intellectual. It's not possible. Because any Nigerian cannot be an intellectual. It's either you are this opposite. The opposite of a Nigerian is intellectualism. The opposite is intellectual Nigerian. You know why? Because Nigerians don't reason. When you say you're a Nigerian, you don't reason. You can't reason properly. It's not possible. But once you know you're not a Nigerian, then you can reason out the details of where you are and the problem you are in. So that's when you can exceed your intellectual ability. As long as you are a Nigerian, your intellectual capacity is stunted, has been sent on an odyssey, maybe of no return. As long as you're a Nigerian, you are in trouble because you're a fool. That's what it is. And you see, you must not say you are not a Nigerian for you not to be a Nigerian. When you are seeking for your freedom and you are reasoning, you are thinking like a Nigerian. You approve of criminality. You approve of you can't seek for freedom outside the narrative or the gospel of truth. Every freedom is a product. Freedom is a product of. I'm going into another teaching, please. I'm sorry. Take this on Thursday. I think it's now leading me into, you know, when I start like this, it leads me into something else. I don't want to go far because I know if I start on this narrative, I'm going to be speaking for very long. This is one. No, it's too long. I don't want to make it too long. Some people don't want it to be too long. It's 1 hour, 22 minutes now, 20. Come with the issue in Nigeria, being a Nigerian, and I'm going to come through that dimension. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Good guys. See you again. And of course, Thursday, I mean, of course, I'm going to open the lines on Saturday and Friday so people can call in if you want to call in. And for those who want to contact us and see how we can discuss, and let's discuss on the platform of. You can call the number, you send a message, send the message, and I'm going to look at the message and I'm going to contact you. And then we're going to discuss. We're going to hold meetings with other people. We're going to come together. We discuss how we want to set ourselves free. We discuss how we want to develop our land. We discuss the things we want to do. It is about us. When a program and a plan is isolated amongst a few people and does not carry the people along and only come to announce to the people and the people get excited, just know that tyranny, or just know that you are expecting doom. Because as soon as they give you freedom, in case, then you're expecting that trouble. That's the number. I'm going to display the number every day. And please share this broadcast on all your social media platforms. Like the video and share. First like it and then share. And then, of course, subscribe to reach out to everyone in the world and let them to understand what we're doing. And because on this hallowed platform of truth, we are desirous to get our freedom without compromise. without compromise. We don't care whose ass is God, as long as the truth is always upheld. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. I know I keep saying thank you all, and I still start talking again. God bless you. Real good. See you on Thursday, 5 p.m. Biafra time. Thank you.